Hi, welcome to my channel Digital Life One. We are a small business that sells digital products online. In this video, I will introduce a Google Sheet product we created recently called Annual Budget Spreadsheet. The product is available at our Etsy shop. If you have not visited our shop, the link is provided in the description below. When you place an order through our Etsy shop, you will receive a PDF file as shown on the screen. There are 3 links at the bottom. The spreadsheet button will take you to the file itself. So let's go ahead and click that. When you do, you'll be brought to a browser. Now, if you have not logged into your Gmail account, the browser will ask you to do so. After you logged in, you can see there is a button at the top. It's called Use Template. So go ahead and click that. This click will download this file into your Google Drive. So when it's downloaded to your Google Drive, now this file belongs to you and you can edit it. On the first page you will see is the guide, where it gives you detailed instructions in text form. I provide this YouTube video, so if you prefer to watch a video to learn how to use this spreadsheet, you can do so. But if you would prefer a text format, you can read through this user guide. Now I'm going to take you a brief tour on the sheets below. There are 18 sheets, and show you how to use this spreadsheet for planning your budget. Let's go to the start page. Here you can select the currency that you prefer. We have a dollar sign, we have a pound and euro and the yuan. You can select that, whichever symbol you prefer, and you can type in the year. For example, now it's 2023. You can just type in 2023, or if you want to do a 2022, you can also do that. Let's go back to 2023. And the date format, there are lots of options to choose from. Just pick one that you prefer, which makes it easiest for you to read. For me, it's the abbreviated month in Word and the day and comma and followed by year. After you have made a selection, you can click these 2 buttons to apply this format and the currency symbol to the whole spreadsheet. But when you first downloaded this file, you will need to give permission for the script to run, because these buttons will activate the script that I wrote specifically for the function of this spreadsheet. So I'll take you through the steps. Now it will, as you can see at the top, it will say running script. And a window will pop up asking you for the authorization. So it says a script attached to this document needs your permission to run. Let's click continue. And here the name of the script is called Digital Life One _ Budget One. That's the name of the script. Here you will see your own Gmail account. Okay, right now you see my shop's Gmail account because I opened it through my shop's Gmail account. So click that. And don't worry about this, because the script that I wrote is specifically for this spreadsheet. You don't have to worry about privacy issue. So click on Advanced, and here it says go to Digital Life One Budget One. Click on that, and it says that this script wants to access your Google account. Since you actually own this script, so it's basically asking you for your permission to run the script that is embedded in the Google Sheet that is now in your own Google Drive. allow. Now, if you really want to know what those scripts look like, you can access those scripts here from the extensions in the toolbar and then click Apps Script. It will bring you to another page where it shows you all the scripts that I wrote for this spreadsheet. If you know how to decipher the codes, you can go through each line of code to see if they will do any damage or intrude your privacy. I assure you they don't. They are purely for the function of this spreadsheet. So now I can run a script. So we'll try use the euro sign and apply the currency symbol. It will ask you to confirm, yes, and success, and now you will see all the currency symbol turned into euro. Okay, it will also apply to the other sheets in this whole spreadsheet, but I prefer the dollar sign, so let's change that back. And the same thing will happen to the date format if you click this button. After you set up the currency symbol and the date format and the year, you can go ahead and enter your recurring items. Now, what do I mean by recurring items? It is the bills or subscriptions that you pay on a regular basis. For example, 1 month or 14 days. Now, this spreadsheet is flexible enough such that you can type in any amount of days or any amount of months. I provided a few examples in the drop-down list, but you can actually enter your own, like 16 days if your bill or subscription asks you to pay every 16 days. So my spreadsheet can adapt to that. And you can I have written already a few examples here and the estimated amount that you're going to pay and the frequency, starting date and ending date. If you don't put in the ending date, the system will just assume that it's the end of the budget year you put here. And the starting date, it is preferably that you put in as the starting of this year. Okay, if you put in like a previous year, it will work as well, but it will, as later on I will show you, that it's going to make the script slower to process. So it's better to use the budget year for in the starting date and also the ending date. And at the right side is the income, recurring income, which usually includes your salary. And if your company has a vacation pay as an extra, you can put it there as well. You can also put in like maybe you receive a child subsidies from the government regularly, and again put in the amount, the frequency, starting date, and ending date. I forgot to mention that the starting date should be the day when that transaction should happen. So if you get paid on starting or the first payday of the year is January the 5th, then you enter January the 5th as the starting date, not January 1, not January the 1st, because the script will think that you get paid on January the 1st and then calculate how much you get paid in the subsequent days and months. Okay, after you enter that, go scroll to the right and see the non-recurring items. Again, it's divided into expense and income. Now, this is where you enter different categories of expenses and incomes that you may have, which are not on a regular basis, like grocery, like transportation, entertainment. I've listed a few here so you can get the idea. And the income, you have a freelance, or you may receive a gift or bonus from your company or your investment return, etc., etc. Okay, this one is carry over from previous year, which just let you be aware of this category because I'll explain it later on. And at the right, you can see merchants. You can enter in the name of the merchants. This is optional. Okay, this is for your own analysis later on if you want to find out how much money you spend on particular merchants, and you can name those merchants here. Now, one thing I want to let you know is that if you reach to the bottom, if you have so many items you need to enter and you reach the bottom, you can press, here's this very little like arrow sign here. If you press it, it's actually going to expand the rows. So you don't have to press this, add 1,000 more rows at the bottom. As you can see, this is just 110 rows so far. So if you press this small upward arrow, it will expand to the 1,000th row. Okay, so that's about it for this page. Let's go to the subset. Now, after you entered the non-recurring items here, those items or those types will automatically appear across this row and this row. Okay, and this is where you can enter a more detailed like subcategory of each type. Like for the grocery, you can put in food, supply, clothing, footwear, etc. For transportation, gas, car maintenance, or parking. Okay, and this is called subset for like a subcategory. This is totally optional, so if you find this tedious, you can skip it. Entries is where you may spend the most time on, because this is where you put in the transactions that happened in your account. So you first of all you put date and the amount and the type. When you entered, after you entered your categories in a start sheet, those categories or types will show up in a drop-down menu. Note that here with when you see a value with a dash in the front and a dash at the end, it means what is the category that is listed below. So all of these are non-recurring expenses. And next you will see non-recurring income. Next you will see recurring expense like rent, like an electricity bill, and then recurring income like salary, vacation pay. So if you the type is a mandatory input, because if you don't enter the type, the spreadsheet doesn't know if it's an income or expense. So if you put a rent here, then the spreadsheet will know it is an expense. And if you put in salary, then the spreadsheet will know it's an income. Okay, and if you put in like a non-recurring type, like a medical, then you can, and if you have put in a subset, the subset will show up like prescription or doctor appointment. And this is where you can put in a merchant, like dentist's office, like whatever clinic, you can put it here. And then the payment method. Okay, these are set. I didn't ask you to type this in because I think that's basically there are just 4 types of payment methods. Then here you can just details. You can put any words, any description you want. So this is basically the sheet where you will spend the most time on. You just enter in the item after item. When you pay something or your bank account receives a pay, then you can enter it here. Now I'm going to skip the entry query and tracker for now. Let's go to the January. And this is where this is a dashboard, okay, monthly dashboard, where after you entered a few entries, you will see things start to become interesting in this sheet. Okay, but first of all, I want to bring your attention to the overview table here. Okay, the rollover means that by checking the rollover box at the left, you can carry over the balance from the previous month. Okay, if it's January and you want to carry over balance from the previous year, you can add an entry in the Entries tab, select the dates from the previous year, make it an income type, and enter the amount you would like to carry over. So I entered an income from 2022, which is the previous year of 2023. Then those income, yeah, it's kind of hard to see even. But if you entered the amount here in the entries, it will show up when you check this checkbox, roll over. If you don't, then the amount that you entered in income in the previous year, it will not show up here. But if you click, it will show up and it will add the income of this month and minus the expense of this month, which will get you the balance. Okay. Now for the estimate, let me delete this first. For the estimate, the balance is calculated by adding the actual rollover amount, because this is already certain. You already know that this is a fact. But you also, when you want to estimate how much money you will spend and how much money you will earn this month, this is where the estimate comes in. So the actual and add income and the minus expense will become your balance, estimate balance of this month. You can manually enter your estimated amount, or you can use this button here. Okay. If you have entered the estimated amount in a start sheet or the non-recurring items, and you entered the estimated amount for each month, then the spreadsheet button, the script, can calculate the estimates for each month for you. It's going to take a while though, because it's kind of a complicated process. And the Google Sheet is not particularly fast. I don't know why. But if you click on this button, it will ask you, the estimate process can take a few minutes. Would you like to continue? And you say yes. And it will start to run. It can take up to a minute and 2 minutes. If you have a lot of items, a lot of recurring bills, subscriptions, and a lot of recurring incomes, this will slow down the process, but hopefully not too much. Okay, so I let the program run for a bit. Now it says success. So you can see that these two cells are automatically generated. It shows that my estimated income for this month is 6,000 and the estimated expense is 2,000. It is just as an example. This is not accurate. Okay, I just entered a few items randomly, but you get the point. And when you scroll down, you will see the daily breakdown of each day. How much money you spend or how much money comes into your account every day. And here you will see expenses, rent. The estimate is how much you entered in the start sheet. So this is 255, and that's what you enter in the start sheet, $255. So it will show up. Now, if you have not entered in the transaction in the entries sheet, the amount will show up as $0 because the spreadsheet doesn't know if you actually paid it or not. You will have to manually put it in the entries sheet. So it says, okay, whichever date you pay this amount of money, and the type is rent. And after you do enter that transaction, you will see the amount showing up here. So you will know that you have paid the rent. Okay, there's another way to keep track of all those recurring expenses. I'll show you later on. And here's the income table. It's the same. There's an estimate and there's an actual amount. when you have when you get the pay into your bank account, you put that in the entries sheet, and the amount will show up here. Now this is a subset breakdown. If you have entered a subset, this will automatically appear, and this is expense and followed by the income. Okay. Now if you, when you are entering the transaction, if you entered the subset, then it will show up here. For example, food, $100. It means that I have entered a transaction where I put in the food as a subset, and the amount will show up here. So that's, and you can see that there's a 3 charts I provided. The cumulative spending is, it shows you how much money you spent over the days of the month. Okay, and estimate versus actual, it shows you, it compares your estimate to the actual transactions, actual amount of transactions. As you can see, I have for the income, I estimated a lot, like over $5,000, but the actual amount I entered so far may be about $2,000. And this is the income left actual after spending. Okay, so my actual income, as you can see, the actual income is less than the expense, the actual expense. So, and the total amount that I actually, when you calculate the income minus expense, you actually get minus $500. Okay, so that's that. And you can view, there are 12 sheets, for one for each month. Now if you go to the year, it summarizes all the data for the whole year. Okay, again, you can choose if you want to roll over the balance from the previous year or not. And it will show you the cumulative income and expense. Okay, now this is a bit different from the monthly sheet, where this shows you just cumulative spending. In the year tab, it actually shows you how your income and expense grows over the year. And in the second chart is similar. Okay, how much money did you estimate will be your income, and how much is your actual income, and expense and balance. And the annual income left after spending, notice that it does not include the rollover from the last year. Okay, so it's $20,000. So if I don't check the rollover, then the balance will be 20,000. This window will show up because it says we are trying to edit a sheet that shouldn't be edited, accidentally edit anyway. You just say yes for this one. Okay. Okay, I'm going to fix it because this is where you will click. So I will make sure that I edit this, that window will not pop up again. But basically it means that if you, this button is that you to show rollover or not, and if you don't, then the actual balance is 20,000. But if you bring the rollover, the balance from the previous year, the final balance will take that, will take this into account. But in this chart, it just shows you the income of this year minus the expense of this year, and this is what you get. Now, if you go back to the tracker, now this is another feature which is may be very helpful for you to track the recurring expenses. Okay, if you just press this button, no, read this. Okay, so please click Estimate Income and Expense button for all months in the month sheet before pressing the Populate button below. So I just pressed the button, but it's just for this month. Now I'm going to go ahead and press this button to estimate for all months, and then I will, okay, it says confirmation, yes. Okay, the script just completed. So you can see there are automated estimates entered into these two cells for all 12 months. Now we go back to tracker sheet. We press this button, populate recurring expense items. It can take up to 30 seconds or to 1 minute. Click yes. Now you'll clear the table first and then repopulate it again. See that? It even gives you total amount for each month at the bottom of each month column. Success. Now let's just check it. As you can see, there are 3 occurrences of health insurance. Now why is that? That's because when I entered in the recurring items here, the health insurance, I put in the frequency is 14 days. Okay, 14 days is not like exactly half of a month. So in some months, you will see this happening 3 times. So in the tracker, you will see that the first instance of health insurance expense is on January the 1st, and the next is January the 15th. So it's 15 is 14 days after the first, but then after when it's 15th, and then you add 2 weeks more, it's still January. So you will see the 29th of January, you still have another instance of health insurance expense you have to pay. So that's how it works. And in February, there's just 2 instances of health insurance expense. Now, if you paid, you can click here as a personal reminder that you have paid these bills, rent, or any subscriptions like YouTube Premium or Netflix, whatever. But when you click these check boxes, it doesn't mean that those expenses are transferred into this month sheet. It doesn't. You still have to go to the entries and enter those expenses, enter those transactions here for these items to show up in the month sheet and in the year sheet. Okay. And finally, the entry query is, I set this up so that you can easily query like grouping of the transactions. For example, if I put, let's just, as an example, I put in, let's search for the whole year, December 31st. And okay, so it basically shows everything because I didn't put any filter. Amount lower than 2,500. Let's put it like 9,500, and then you can make sure you capture everything. But you see the salary is $2,000. If I put it lower than that, like 1,500, then the salary is gone, okay, because they are excluded because of the criteria I set. Now, if I just want to look at an item called grocery, I just put a check mark, and you will see that all the items listed are groceries. Okay, and these are drop-down menu. It lists all the types that you have entered in the start sheet. So if you put grocery here, you will only show grocery. But if you put more check marks like salary or interest, it will also show up listed here. Now the salary doesn't appear because it has set amount lower than 1,500, right? So if I put it 2,500, it will show up again. And if I uncheck that, the salary is gone. Okay, so that's how it works. Now grocery, if I put footwear, there's no footwear, so it will show you not available. Okay, but if I put in food, now there are 2 items excuse me, that are in the grocery. Okay, now you can also list the query results by ascending or descending of date. You can also filter by payment methods. Because I didn't put in any payment methods, if I click check, it will be not available because I didn't put in any information for the payment method. Now if you want to include everything, every payment method, even the, so it says all. Okay, so when it says all, then you're including every payment method, even the empty one, the blank ones. But when you choose the blank, it will filter in only the blank payment method and exclude all the items that you entered something in it. Okay, so blank, it will show up blank. Let's see. The blank is also available here. So if you put subset here, it will shows you that it will show all the grocery items that you have not entered any subset information. Okay, since you entered for the 2 instances of grocery, you have entered in food. So if you check this, it will rule out all both of these items because there's information on subset. Okay, now this may be confusing, but if you play this around a bit, you will get a hang of it, and you'll become very efficient for you to search and to group the transactions. And after that, you can just highlight, click and drag, and come down here, and you can see the descriptive statistics. So the sum is $600, average $300, and minimum and max. Okay, that's how you do the data analysis. In the entries tab, you may be tempted to activate the filter function in this sheet, but please don't, because if you sort this page, the formulas will be messed up. So don't do that. That's why I created the entry query page for you to do this search. Okay, so that's about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat function in our Easy Shop, or just email us at digitallife1@gmail.com. If you have any comments, you can leave it below this video. I hope that this spreadsheet will be helpful for you to plan your finance. Thanks for watching.